Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Cordelicchio. I want to welcome you to another segment of Destination Health Podcast. We're finding function in a dysfunctional world. Very excited. Part 2 coming up today with Cara and I. Cara, how are you today? What's going on? Thank you for coming back. And we're going to be doing a segment every 4 to 6 weeks, it looks like. And we're going to be discussing different topics. And it's going to be exciting. And I'm really excited about today's topic. So it's going to be good.
Yes.
How are you today?
How are you doing? I am just rolling along here.
We were having a conversation before on what we were going to talk about. And I think we got a great topic for everybody today. And I think it's going to be interesting. So for those of you who don't know, Cara has been on the podcast already. She is the creator of Cara and I magazine. She practices healthy habits every day, nutrition, exercise, reprogramming, somatic healing, cognitive behavioral therapy, talk therapy. Cara and I magazine, say that 10 times really fast, was formed for a community of like-minded souls that are passionate about wellness and personal growth and enjoy sharing their knowledge and experiences with others. I'm writing an article for the next one, so I'm very excited about that. You can read topics about nutrition, fitness, health, wellness, self-development, spirituality. Hello, how are you today? What's going on? You're in Northern New Jersey. What's going on in Northern New Jersey?
It's more central.
It's more central. I think I'm more central New Jersey than you are, being in Monmouth County.
No, I think Monmouth is south of me.
It is definitely south of you.
Yeah, I'm up in Bridgewater.
Yeah, it's kind of North Jersey, no?
We call it Northern Central.
You call it Northern Central New Jersey.
Northern Central. So there you go.
All right. So I'm like South Central then, because it's Ocean County. Then you got all the beaches and stuff like that. So it's all good. All right. So let's get into our conversation today.
Yes,
let's get into the conversation. Control and surrender. That's what we were talking about. And this is a very important topic, especially if you're an entrepreneur. I have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast. And it's a situation where they try to get motivated, educated, and inspired, and controlling and surrendering, kind of like two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? When it comes to being an entrepreneur. So what was your epiphany the other day when you were in the car driving?
Well, this was my epiphany. So just a little backstory. I was feeling very frustrated because I just kept feeling like I'm working so hard on these areas of my life where it's like, okay, the income, like I work 2 jobs. I have this magazine. I'm trying to grow my brand, put out issues for the magazine, always come from a place of, inspiration, even like socializing, making friends, the dating thing. And it's like, I just feel like I'm putting in so much work in every single area. And I'm saying, I don't see movement even in one of those areas. So it's like, I kind of was blaming myself and saying, well, if something isn't changing, it must be something that I'm not doing. There's something that I haven't thought of yet. Like it's me. And I think at the end of the day, there's a difference between doing everything you can do and you're just trying to be in control too much. And where is that fine line? And when we come from a place of manifestation, right? So manifestation is, you know the what and the why. You want to surrender the how and the when to the universe. And I think in the place that I was in, I was controlling way too much of the how, way too much of the when, demanding these things be changing on my timeline. And as you know, you can't do that with manifestation. It's like, and I just think that I need to, starting today, I'm just going to practice surrendering and just saying, okay, I will take each day as it comes. If if I come up with a new idea or a new solution and I feel inspired to do it, I'm going to do it. But it really
Right.
is about enjoying this journey, not being frustrated and saying, this isn't working. Where's the growth? I'm putting in the time. So where's the results? Then you're getting, it's like, you can't go up against the universe like that. So,
This is an interesting conversation because I know that, and when you're an entrepreneur, it is you get to be controlling in your life, your personal life, your business life, with
right.
yourself, with your children, and so forth and so on. And when things aren't happening, you blame yourself for it because you're supposed to be able to move the dial forward. And the big, I think, operative word, because when you were talking, a lot of interesting things were popping in, and a lot of interesting questions, enjoying the process, because sometimes the process is really frustrating, right?
Yeah.
The process can be really frustrating because you're working so hard on all these aspects of your life. Your job kind of takes center stage a lot of times, and everything kind of is circling around that because that's how you're paying your bills and so forth. So what was that frustration for you? What did it look like?
Oh, geez. It was just, I think it's a matter of expelling your energy
Hmm.
into like all of these moving parts, let's say.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, I can't get one moving part to work. It almost feels like you can't get like the domino effect from it if the
Right.
one thing isn't working. And that's what was happening with me. And I'm just saying to myself, I have tried everything I can. How
Hmm.
come I'm not seeing growth or movement? And I think it's just a matter of, if you're doing everything that you can think of and you've tried everything thus far, um, then you can't play God. It's like you don't know what you don't know. And maybe there's just more for you to learn at that time,
Hmm.
and the universe is saying, hey, like, you're just not ready yet. You're supposed to be where you are. Like, just trust in divine timing. So, and we know that coming from a place of frustration and negativity or hopelessness or whatever it is, now you're just putting out negative vibrations, and that's where you're going to stay, is in that low vibe.
Right. Right, because you definitely stay in that low vibe type of a situation.
Yeah.
And because, you know, impatience is a killer. And you can't think clearly too when you're impatient. So you could be
Yeah.
pushing, pushing, pushing. And then what happens is that you're pushing so hard, nothing's happening.
You're causing resistance.
Right. That impatience, and I've learned that, being in business for myself for 35 years, if you push too hard and you become frustrated, become impatient, you can sit down and you can try to figure out which way to go. Sometimes you need to take a step back, take a breath in, and you need to just take it easy so that you can think clearer. And because if you're not thinking clearly, when you're impatient, you just make bad decisions to begin with. And so no
Yeah.
matter how hard you're working or pushing, right? No matter what that looks like, that impatience really prohibits you from growing as a person, because
Yeah.
when you're in business for yourself, it's just not about growing your business, it's about growing you, because you have to be ready. And as we were saying before we got on the air, you have to be ready to receive everything. And you
Yeah.
can't do that, right, you can't ready, you can't be ready to receive when you're just frustrated and impatient. Talk
Yeah.
about receiving. Why is that important?
So for receiving it, I just think it's super important that you do just trust and allow. So you want to be in a place where you can just allow opportunities to flow in instead of trying to force everything.
Hmm.
And that place of flow and that place of trust really comes from the inspiration of why you're doing what you're doing, and
Right.
really slowing yourself down and saying, wait, I'm doing this because this is what I'm passionate about, and I can
Hmm.
help people and I can add value to the world. And this is who I am as a person. And I think it can be so easy to lose the fun. If you come from a place of fun and inspiration, it helps you stay in that space of, okay, gratitude, fun, here's the higher vibrations. Now we can attract instead of forcing, right? And it's not there.
Trust the process, enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Let the process come to you sometimes also. And I say this to my son, when it comes to school and it comes to hockey and it comes to his life, sometimes you got to trust that process and you got to let that process come into you, because once you do that, I think it's just so much better when you're trying to manifest a business, and I understand, you run multiple businesses, and I get up in the morning and I'm like you, it's full throttle and you're going, and it's very difficult at times, to sit there and say, well, geez, you know what? I'm pushing so hard. Can I add in an extra 6 things today? Can I make an extra 6 phone calls? And is that going to make the big difference? Can I add in an extra 2 or 3 meetings a day or maybe during the week? And is that going to make much of a big difference? And a lot of times it doesn't. But if you have those meetings and if you can add them in and you're trusting the process and you're not frustrated and you're not impatient, things happen a lot quicker, right? Do you find that?
Yeah. And if you have more of an open mind about those things, like you're saying, it's like, well, if I'm going to make, let's say, 6 phone calls or reach out to, say, 4 people over DM or comments, whatever it is, and it's like, okay, nothing might happen in the next 5 minutes or that night, but you just never know how the opportunity could present itself. You just don't know what it's going to lead to in the future. And I think it's really keeping your faith in that as well.
I think that's important, because what happens is that if you're in business and you're enjoying the process and you're trusting the process, what happens is that you can plant the seeds, you can have a better meeting, you can be more open to possibilities of maybe there is no business with this person. Maybe there is business with this person. Maybe it could be whatever it is, but at least you can start figuring that out, right? And the field that you're in, a magazine, is not easy, right? There's a lot of competition, right? There's a lot of online competition. There's a lot of hard copy competition, and it's not the easiest thing to do, right? So it does take a lot of work, and it could be very frustrating at time. So what are a couple of few things that you had to give up control of over the last week or so?
Oh boy.
Good question, right?
Well, for me, I look at my situation as like, okay, again, like, what are the moving parts, right? So I'm like, okay, like, I work 2 jobs. And the second job I had gotten thinking, okay, I'm going to have this much in my bank account every month. It's going to be there. It's going to provide me with a feeling of more freedom. That's the thing. Because my ultimate goal with this magazine, with the growth, everything I'm doing is to experience freedom in every way: financial, spiritual, physical, emotional. And I just said, well, how come, where's the money going? I don't see, it's not what I thought it was going to be. It's not what I thought it was going to be. This is the whole reason I got this job. And what's going on? I got this other job because I thought I was going to be, networking and meeting people that were like-minded and like the things that I like. And I would be bonding with my coworkers because they were going to be liking the same things. And at the end of the day, I've been there a few months, and the employees, for the most part, people are at work just to go to work. They just want to do their job. And I'm not sure if there's been a shift that way because, after coronavirus, I don't know if the dynamics have shifted or not. But I remember in other jobs that I've had, those were full-time jobs, the employees did bond. They sometimes went out and did stuff outside of work. They established friendships. And I'm just saying, well, it's not happening. 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 And it's like, don't forget either. the more you focus on something, the more it expands. So the
Mhm.
more I'm saying it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not there, it's not there. Well, that's what I'm
That's what you're
attracting.
getting. That's what you're
More
getting
of it's
back.
not there, it's not there.
Right.
So, um, again, it's like just back to basics. And so that was with my job, socialization, even dating. I'm saying
Mhm.
I'm on these dating apps and I'm tired of sifting through these people that just don't even want a relationship. They don't even respond, or like
Mhm.
it's one sentence and they ghost you. And it's like, I'm like, this is really frustrating. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, if I don't want to do this, but I want to meet people organically, okay,
Mhm.
well, that's why I got this one job that has to do with health and wellness, or so
Right.
I thought. It's like, okay, well, I joined a singles group, but it turns out none of the people are like, even like, I mean, age wise, interest wise, stuff like that. It's just not there. So I'm just
Mhm.
like, why am I doing everything I can do and it's not even working? Like, it's not even, I mean, nothing. So with the magazine, it was like I hired someone to do the Facebook ads
Mhm.
and nothing, couldn't figure it out. So it's just like, why am I in this standstill? And that is what's driving me crazy, because it's
Right.
not like I said to myself, oh, with this second job, it's okay if the other things don't work right away, because at least if I'm having like a tough time, I have a freedom where I feel like if I want to go to the mall one day and just go shopping, I can do it. At least I have an outlet. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Sure.
Um, or hey, like there would be a change. I would make a new friend at work
Right.
and we would maybe do something outside of work. So it's like,
So when you're going to shopping, you got to go to the Short Hills Mall, because you got to spend all that money going there, right?
well, I was thinking more Woodbridge Mall. They have so much stuff.
Yeah.
Lot of variety over there. And I know my malls. That's one thing that I do know. But yeah, that's where I've been. I've been in a place of just stillness, void, nothing's working. Like everything just came to like a stop, like a halt. And I'm just saying, it's not working, it's not working. And I'm just like, you know what? Being angry and frustrated for the past 2 weeks is not serving me.
Right.
It's no longer serving me. So I
And
surrender.
yeah, you have to. And you know what happens too, and this is what I've noticed in my business, is that in my life, that once you kind of do that surrendering, and it's different for everybody, maybe, I'm not too sure, but once you do that, you can pivot a different way and make better decisions, because what we've all gone through over the last 2 years, businesses have gone under. And
Yeah.
if you weren't able to sit back and surrender and say, hey, listen, what can I do to make my business work? What can I do to make my family work? What can I do to pay my bills, feed my family, whatever that looks like, this is what it is. And you sit there and you go, well, I'm calmer now. I understand the situation and I can appreciate the situation. I can
Right.
understand the situation more. And once you can appreciate and understand the situation more, I think you can pivot a lot quicker. And it
Yeah.
could be anything in life. And once you make that pivot, then you have to see if that's going to work. And instead of getting frustrated if it's not working, you need to pivot again until you find that way for you. That's very important. And I think that this is kind of like the gist of this conversation, is that
Yeah.
you need to pivot in life, whatever that looks like. So maybe you're doing telehealth, as I did. And so I have a big, telehealth presence here, in New Jersey, and there's other, ways in which you can pivot when you're frustrated. But to enjoy the process and to sit there and just to, you know, chill, because in my younger days, it was full throttle all the time.
Yeah.
And it was just whatever. And your head's banging up against the wall, and you did something until your head broke through the wall. May not have been the best decision. Maybe if you pivoted a little bit more, your business would have been better because you made a better decision. instead of just punching down that wall. As my
Yeah.
friend Dr. Kopp would say, it's the Hulk syndrome, a Hulk syndrome. And there are those that would smash through and those that would just create problems, even more problems with doing that. But enjoying
Right.
the process, looking at it from a different perspective, right? And surrendering to what's going on and then receiving what's going to happen. It's just easier to make those decisions, right?
Yes, and I think it's like you're saying, it really is okay. What am I supposed to learn and what are my options?
Learning options. I like that. I'm
What are
writing
my
this down.
options?
What are you
What am I
supposed to
supposed to be
learn?
learning and what are my options?
What are my options?
And if you have tried all of your options thus far, maybe you're just not thinking of something or it just hasn't come yet.
There's always more options that you can do.
Right.
There's
But if
always
you
more.
haven't found that option right then and there,
Right.
well, then maybe even that's for a purpose. And maybe you just need to, yeah, chill out, take a breath, maybe go do something else. Detach. Detach and it might come.
Go to the Woodbridge Mall and clear your head.
Go to the Woodbridge Mall and buy some cute outfits.
And you'll be okay. And everything is good. See, in my day, we used to go to the Willowbrook Mall because I'm really from northern New Jersey. So we're almost done here. We got about 7 minutes left, and I have a couple of more questions. What strategies have you implemented into your daily routine to surrender and to pivot, if you will?
Well, for one, I think seeing my mental health counselor has helped a lot because she's there to say, hey, okay, what's in your circle of control? What is not? And that's a big thing, sort of being aware of what's in my circle of control and what isn't, so I can get out of that spiral of feeling overwhelmed. That's huge for me. It's being aware of when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and just learning to, again, slow down, maybe take one thing at a time. Time management.
Right. Excuse me.
Maybe making myself a schedule and saying, okay, I like with my magazine, I'm still trying to sort of figure out, okay, I like to publish it every 3 months, right? So for me, since I'm still new to it and how long it takes me to put out each issue and the articles and everything, I work on, okay, today I'm going to work on the magazine for 2 hours or 3 hours because reality is I don't know how long it's going to take me. Every issue is different. Every article looks different.
Sure.
Everything's different. So I think it's just a matter of, okay, don't get overwhelmed. If you have other things to do, which I do. Now, mind you, I work 2 jobs. I have my household here. I have my dog. I have, what little of a social life I actually have. I have, self-care. Oh my goodness, self-care. So it's just, for me, it's definitely time management and learning to take care of myself, take care of my house, and give everything the time that it deserves and not get so crazy over what if it doesn't get done? What if it doesn't get done? What if it doesn't get done? Because that stresses me out faster than anything. And I think that
yes,
I recognize, and I did recognize in this epiphany, I have been living in survival mode. And that comes from those are still ruminating emotions and ego thoughts that come from being divorced and on my own. I have not worked through those emotions yet. So that, I think that has been the root of this magazine has to work. This job has to work. I have to get 2 jobs. Like I'm like frantic because I'm so afraid that I can't provide for myself, that I'm going
Right.
to fail.
Right. There you
I
go.
don't have a safety net. And it's, oh my God, if this doesn't work fast enough, what's going to happen? Can I still be on my own? Am I going to lose my house? Am I going to have to switch to like crappy food because it's cheaper and I care about my
Right.
health and I can't have that happen, you know? And the thoughts just spiral and spiral and spiral.
Now, what happens with individuals is that they put all of their energy into that. And once you start going into that valley of despair, that
Right.
spiral downward that you have. And you want to get that energy and you want to pivot and you want to bring that energy to the other side so that
Yeah.
you're moving forward.
Yeah.
Because if you're enjoying the process and if you're making decisions, you know, even if you get your head handed to you, and then as my partners say to me, sometimes in business, you got to take it on the chin. And sometimes you have to do that and you still have to move forward. You still got to find
Right.
the way to move forward. That's very
Right.
important to do, because if
Right.
you don't, that becomes an issue and that becomes a problem also.
Right.
So this is about learning how to manage your emotions, manage your thoughts, how to move through difficult times in life. Do you
Yes. And
do
how
you
your ego,
oh yes.
the things that are trying to protect us, like in my case, it was like, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur and you want to grow your business and you want those opportunities, you really have to, again, break through those limiting beliefs and those limiting fears. And I need
Right.
to work on this survival mode thing because
Right.
I've never been in this situation before.
Right.
So if I'm constantly functioning and coming from that place of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and panic, 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 that's a completely different vibration than inspiration. I love what I do, and just trust and just surrender.
Well, the life of an entrepreneur is you wake up, you start working, you know, and you look at what you did yesterday and you go, I'm terrible. I'm horrible. I've made so many business mistakes. I shouldn't even be doing this. I'm a loser, if you will. An
Or
hour
I'm a
later,
loser because there's no movement. Where's
right,
the movement?
right,
I must not be doing a good enough job. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
right. And then an hour later, you could say, wow, something I did 3 weeks ago came in, it manifested. I'm the best. I'm on top of the world. I'm the best business person. Nobody has anything over me. I don't care who they are, right? Warren Buffett, step aside, buddy. You know,
Right.
I got you. And
Right.
that's the roller coaster. And life can be a roller coaster, and you need to manage each and every one of these emotions
Right.
when you are on the roller coaster of life, because you can make better
Yeah.
decisions when you're calmer and you're thinking a little bit more clearly instead of in that survival mode, that full throttle mode, that impatient mode.
Yes.
It just really begins because the more you control, and I've always said this, when I mentor young chiropractors, if you're in control, how do you know that the control that you're doing is even right? So you're right, you're continuing to control, control, control. Okay, you got to get up, you got to clean your office, you got to do this, you got to do that, So you have to control certain aspects of your business. How do
Right.
you know that you're doing it in the correct order? How do you know that cleaning at this time of the day is the best? How do you know that putting this, social media post is the best time today?
Right.
Because then what happens is that you're all over the place. And in being all over the place, you're just gonna, again, you're gonna get into that valley of despair.
Right. And it really is just about riding the wave.
Right. Ride that wave, and
Riding the
sometimes
wave.
as you're riding the wave, you got to move that surfboard a little bit here. And sometimes you got to move it a little bit here because the wave starts collapsing at one point in time, doesn't it?
Right.
And then you have to move it to someplace else. So
Right.
interesting, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question.
Okay.
Top 3 takeaways from this conversation. What do you think?
Ooh. Okay. So starting today, number 1, surrender. Number 2, how easy it can be to let ego take over and throw me into that surrender place. I'm sorry, instead of that survival place.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, I want to be more aware of that. Number three, I would say number three, stop with the this isn't going to get done in time stuff. Stop. Just trust.
Trust. I like that.
It's going to be okay. Just trust.
SET, set, surrender, ego, and trust. I think we just put together a seminar that we can do.
There you go.
You know, that's another way of making money. Surrender, ego, and trust.
Yeah.
Cara, thank you very much for being on today. We're going to have Cara on. We're going to be doing segments every 4 to 6 weeks. We want to motivate, educate, and inspire, and we just kind of figure out what we want to talk about. This is great. I love these conversations because we can apply this to all aspects of our life, and it's important to do. So, Cara, where can people find you? Where can they find the magazine?
You can find me on Instagram at official Cara Mia. It's all one word. I have my link tree on my Instagram, and if you click that, that will take you to everything. My website is caramiamodel.com. I am in the middle of changing actually the name. It's going to be, I think it's going to be caramiaofficial.com, but don't quote me on that. I just have one more thing to fix. But as of right now, yes, it's caramiamodel.com. You can purchase the magazine from my store in there, or like I said, you can click my link tree. You'll find the magazine there. And yes, follow my Instagram because I'm really enjoying building a community of like-minded people and who like to have these conversations and who want to grow and who want to work on their self-awareness, and even other entrepreneurs. Like if we have useful information to share with each other, let's share our stories and let's help each other.
Absolutely, because I'm on the link tree right now. It goes to your Facebook page, your Instagram, YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, magazine, website, everything. So go to Instagram, go to the link tree, and it's all there. I'll make sure that this is in the show notes. Cara, thank you very much for your time again. Interesting conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
Oh, my pleasure. The honor is on our end, and it's going to be good because we're going to be doing segments every 4 to 6 weeks, and who knows what we're going to talk about next. Get into it, get the magazine, get into it, and next time we're going to be discussing some more great information. Cara, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you for listening. Everybody, live your best life. Take care now.
Yes.